guys, so if you are new here, my name's Candy. I'm a homeschool mom with 5 kids and we live in Oklahoma. My husband is a truck driver, so he's in and out and always busy. When he's home, he's busy because he's getting ready to go again. Anyways, today I'm doing a collab with several other moms on why we still homeschool. That being said, I also kind of need to tell you guys why we started homeschooling. So I'm going to tell you guys why we started homeschooling, why we continue homeschooling, and why we will always homeschool. So if you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the other videos in the collab. And also, if you will look in the description box below, I will link all the other videos as well. So let's get started. So I always felt like naturally it just kind of happened where when CJ was like 2, I noticed he was very smart. So we started working, learned his colors, letters, shapes, numbers, all that. And then it just kind of naturally progressed through pre-K and stuff that I was homeschooling. When he hit 1st grade, I had to go to work and I was working a lot and going to school. And so I put him in school. So he was in 1st grade. He was not doing very well. His teacher was constantly texting me and emailing me, complaining that when he was done, he wanted to chat with her. And she didn't have time to sit and talk. And then she would complain if I sent him work to do, because she said it distracted the other students when I sent him a workbook. And so I was like, well, you know, you figure it out. I don't know. You know, I tried, you know. And so then he started complaining that she was making him wash windows, vacuum, things like that. And she said, well, he's not bothering me that way. And, you know, my room's getting cleaned. I don't have to stay later and clean it. And he's not a disruption. So I was just kind of like, well, you know, this isn't something I really want him doing. I'd much rather he do a workbook, but you know. So I didn't really have much choice in the matter because I had to work. And so that went on for a few months and he just kept complaining, and then he started having trouble a couple months later with another student who was 2 grades older that was picking on him. And I kept going back to school, and they just kept saying, well, if we didn't see it, it didn't happen. Even though there was times where his clothes were so bloody that they sent them home in a Ziploc bag and made him change into little girl's clothes off the playground. Like, you know, he'd come in and be bleeding. They'd make him change. I live 3 blocks from the school. And there was one day where he came home in a little Minnie Mouse tracksuit because he got beat up by this 3rd grader in 1st grade. This 3rd grader beat him up and they couldn't bother to call me. And it was my day off that day. I was home. I was doing laundry. One of my kids has food allergies, so that day off during the week, I prepped all her food for daycare because the daycare wouldn't feed her. And so, yeah, I was home and they still sent him home instead of calling me. And so, I was very frustrated, very irritated. I went up to the school, you know, and she was like, well, this is life. He needs to learn that, you know, in life there's bullies, and in life this, and in life that. And she just kind of like condoned it. And I got furious and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm done. Give me his stuff. He's done. And she said, well, this is only going to last a week. You'll be back. And we just never went back. So yeah, she was a little bit wrong there because that was 1st grade and he's in 6th grade this year. That being said, Mika's always had issues health-wise and with her learning disabilities and stuff, and it's never been easy for her to do school. But on top of it, I don't think that she physically would be able to manage school. I mean, I know they could make some accommodations for her, but it still wouldn't be easy by any means for her. And I think that God knew that was going to be the path we needed. I think that, you know, I felt the pull, you know, when CJ was very little, and there was a reason. And that when I withdrew him, that was just, you know, God's way of saying, you know, you're done. You know what you were supposed to be doing. One of these days I'll have to sit down and kind of talk about what it's like having Mika, because, I mean, she looks like the most happy child in the world, and she's very good at putting on the front of I'm happy, I'm fine, I'm great, until she just isn't anymore. And so people don't realize what day-to-day life is like with Mika. And so she has polyjoint juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and it's affecting every one of her major joints in her body and several of the more minor joints, like fingers and toes and things. Winter is really bad, and early spring. Anytime the weather's about to get really bad, it's really hard for her. It's rough. I mean, because we never know. Okay, guys, so let's talk about why I'm still homeschooling all these years later. So, I mean, anytime you get on Facebook or any news sites or even turn your TV on, there's some type of violence going on at a school. Somebody had a gun, somebody had a knife, somebody threatened something. Just last week, we had like 7 schools in the state all on lockdown in one day for guns, threats, all kinds of stuff. And it's just crazy. Like, it's crazy that people do those things, and it's crazy that people think that's the answer to whatever problems they have in life. It's crazy that people feel pushed to that. It's crazy that there's that much bullying and things like that going on, that people feel that bad in life. I mean, really, it's crazy. I mean, that's just all there is to it. A huge part of why we homeschool is because we want to be able to give the kids something that they don't get in a classroom. We don't want to give them a school education. We want to give them a world education. We want them to experience life. We want them to know how to do things in life. Grow their own food, raise their own animals, interact with people of all ages. We want them to go places, do things, experience things, volunteer, all the things that they wouldn't do sitting in the classroom. And I'm not saying that there aren't unique experiences that you get when you're in public school. I'm just saying we want them to go into the world with wide open eyes and curiosity. And we want them to know that there is more out there than they realize. And that goes into our community service stuff that we do. That goes into our life as far as going to church, our field trips, our big projects that we do, co-op, any like day-to-day life as a general, anything that we just, one of the kids says, hey, I wonder about this, and I find something that has to do something with it, and we just jump in the car and go. We want the kids to experience life hands-on and with a genuine curiosity. Also, because of Mika's health, because we don't know on the day-to-day what's going to happen, what's our plans are going to change by, when she's going to have a good day, when she's going to have a bad day. It's just easier for us to homeschool. If she's having a good day, we can go to the park, we can go to the playground, we can go walk trails, we can go hiking, we can go to the library, to the zoo, wherever we want to go. But if she doesn't feel good, we have the opportunity to be able to stay home, have her park her rear end on the couch with her heat blanket and do her work on the couch, or listening to read alouds together with her, you know, right there with us. And she's comfortable, and she's where her pain medicine is, and she's got heat packs and ice packs, and you know, there's no worry. And if you are somebody that we know and are friends with and see a lot, then you know that our plans change based on her. I mean, if she's not feeling good, then our plans change immediately. You know, I'm not going to take her somewhere when she's in pain. Anyways, yeah, it's just, it's easier for us to work around her health and make homeschooling work for her than it is for us to force her to go to school and risk her health and her well-being and her mental state, because it's hard for her when she has friends and things that she meets, or people that she knows. It's hard for her to explain, I can't do that today because of this, 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 and she'll try to go do it anyway, and then she's hurt worse because she wanted to be like other people and she didn't want to have to tell them that she has limitations. And so yeah, for us, it's just, it's what naturally has to happen for our family. And that's okay with us. Like I said, with the way the world is today, we aren't exactly jumping to send them to school anyway. So CJ thrives on unschooling. That's where he does his best. And so that's what I do for him. He reads a good 20 books a week. I make sure that he has the books he needs. I make sure he has the stuff for the experiments he wants to do. I make sure he has plenty of paper and notebooks and everything he needs, because he takes a lot of notes and he does a lot of notebooking and nature studies and stuff like that. He loves watching like National Geographic and things and taking notes from that. He has notebooks and notebooks full of notes. That's how he learns. That's what he wants to do, and that's okay with me. With Mika, because she has learning disabilities, what works best for her is me and her sitting and working one-on-one. When we do work one-on-one, I can sit with her, I can work with her until things click. I can figure out a good way for her to learn something and it makes sense to her and her not struggle. And so that's what I do. I work with her one-on-one. Penny has like a really eidetic memory the way CJ does. If she writes it down, she's going to remember it forever. And so, you know, it's pretty easy to teach Penny. I can teach her in under an hour, and I can work with Mika and move on and, you know, work with little James. And, you know, he's right on pace for 5 years old. Penny's advanced for 6. Mika's getting it. I mean, since we've brought her pain levels down, she is really understanding things in a way that she didn't, or for the past several years when she was really struggling. And with CJ, like I said, he unschools, and he is so smart, you wouldn't believe how smart he is for 11 years old. And so, yeah, it's what works. And that's the best thing about it, is that since we homeschool, we can learn and teach. I can teach, they can learn the way that works for them, and what works for them, and how it works for them, and what they want to learn. And that being said, that's, you know, that's probably the main reason why. And then, I don't know, that this safety thing's kind of a big one too. But yeah, I couldn't imagine them being in school, so I feel like we're doing the right thing. I feel like I'm doing what God wanted me to do in the first place all those years ago when I put him in school. And so, if for whatever reason things should happen that they need to go back to school, I don't know. We'll cross that bridge if that day ever comes, but I really don't think it'll ever happen. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Why you homeschool, or how you homeschool even. Like if you unschool, if you do Charlotte Mason, if you do school at home, whatever it is. And I would also like to hear why you still homeschool if you've been homeschooling for many years. So also, if you are a YouTuber and you have a video about these things, leave a comment below with your video link and I'll watch your video. Okay guys, so restless kids wanted to go outside and we're done watching cartoons. So we are outside and they are playing, and I just wanted to wrap this up and tell you guys thank you for listening to me ramble on and on about everything, because I really felt like in order to talk about why we still homeschool, I kind of needed to tell you guys more about why we started homeschooling. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna play with little people and finish up dinner because I've got it in the smoker, and I just really wanted to tell you guys thank you for listening, and I hope you check out the rest of the videos in the collab, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye. Throw it! Throw it!
I got it!
Yep, throw it! Woo! Can you get it? Can you let Maddie throw it? Throw it this way, Maddie. Yay! Throw it, Maddie.